This is Felissa Rose.
And this is Dave Sheridan.
And you're listening to
Jump Scare.
Jump Scare.
Jump Scare.
Ooh.
Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Chad.
This week we're joined by our friend Carrie.
Creepy Carrie, Creepy Carrie! Hello, everyone.
And we're covering The Fly 2, 1989.
Listen. Do you hear it? It's getting closer. Much closer. Don't be afraid. Be very, very afraid.
You can finish your father's work. You're as brilliant as he was.
Something odd is happening to me, and I don't know what it is.
It's getting worse.
I'm getting better.
The Fly 2. Like father, like son.
So The Fly 2. Oh, this is part of our second serving, even though it probably will not be coming out in the second week of March.
Yeah, we're just going to do some sequels and not worry about trying to pin it down to a week.
It's Shad's birthday month, so this is one of his picks. Yay! The film stars Eric Stoltz and Daphne Zuniga.
Yep.
Who everyone should know from Spaceballs and Melrose Place. And The Initiation, which I'm pretty sure we covered, or I covered it in my mind. John Getz, who is Gus from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, Rose's boyfriend.
I know you two love.
Yes. Love.
Big fans.
And this one was directed by Chris Wallace, who did all the effects for this and Gremlins and the original Fly. He's done a lot of different things for effects-wise over the years. And this one has an interesting group of people that worked on writing it, too. You've got Mick Garris and Frank Darabont, who both have done, lots of Stephen King stuff. Then you have two other guys named Kim and Jen Wheat. I messed that all up. Jim and Ken Wheat. There we go. Who have written a lot of things like all the Chronicles of Riddick movies, the Dream Master, Nightmare on Elm Street 4. They've done some strange things, including The Birds 2. They're good on sequels, apparently.
Good on making bad sequels. Even though this movie is not the best, I still hold it dear to my heart.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's way overhated. It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
I don't know why it's overhated.
But this one starts off, now, you remember in the original Fly, you had Gina Davis having the crazy dream where she's giving birth to the maggot. Well, it turns out that wasn't too far off from what actually ends up happening. It's almost that bad. Her character, because Gina Davis is not back in this, but her character gives birth to this weird cocoon-looking thing.
It's a larva.
It's a larva.
That just looks like a sticky bun of some kind.
It looks like it's oozing like a thick milk substance. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and then they just slice that open and take the baby out, and the baby's perfectly normal. Everyone's so matter-of-fact about it. Like, no one's freaked out by this in the operating room. They're all just like, well, yeah, this is what happens when you have a fly baby.
How would they not know that that's what it was in when they did an ultrasound?
Maybe they couldn't do an ultrasound because they couldn't penetrate through the thick larva.
But even then, you'd think that would have tipped them off that something was wrong. That they'd be like, well, we did an ultrasound. We can't see anything in there. There must be something wrong.
What is with films having, mind you, yes, pregnancy and then the act of giving birth. It's not the prettiest thing. It is very gooey. You more than likely will shit yourself. It's not the prettiest thing ever.
No.
But there's an obsession with Hollywood because we see this with Daniel Harris's character giving birth in Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
She's giving birth to in like a crazy, mind you, she has a whole cult around her, but in a crazy way, like giving birth, we're going to add more horror and terror to it. Look, you're telling me there's a fucking human being coming out of my vagina that's going to splice my thing up to my asshole and I'm going to shit myself? I don't need lava, milky white substances, a cult. I don't need any of that. That's already scary.
The birth scene in Hills Have Eyes 2.
Yeah, that's pretty gruesome too.
Where the mutant person who impregnated her just rips the baby out and the baby dies, so he just clocks her on the head and kills her. And she's like, her toenails are all overgrown, like 2 inches, because she's been tied up for 9 months.
Yeah, that thing is pretty rough.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Yeah. And no, I've obviously never seen
like
this
her
movie.
teeth are rotting out, which your teeth wouldn't rot out in 9 months, but...
Not unless you're on meth.
This is true.
But yeah, so that starts off the whole movie with that, and then, you know, we pretty quickly move to like the montage of him growing up, and we get to see that he's growing up pretty fast because they didn't want to set this movie like, you know, in the far future of like 2009.
But yet someone had humor when they were creating the character of Martin Brundle, because his name is now nicknamed Marty, and 4 years before this movie came out, Back to the Future came out, and Eric Stoltz was Marty McFly.
Yeah.
So now we have Marty McFly, who's an actual fly.
We're just calling Marty the Fly.
I was going to say Marty the Fly.
Marty the Fly.
That'd be great. We should make they should do shirts of that, like with fright rags or something. A combination.
Like a mashup.
Yeah, like where he's like on the like hoverboard, but he's got wings.
And the jacket and everything.
The jacket and
everything. It's a fly face.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That's our idea. We will sue you.
Yes.
Don't steal our idea. We need an artist.
Someone that's with artistic talent listening, please do this.
Florida artists. Stay tuned to the horror at gmail.com. Email us.
Yes.
Please make us a mashup of Marty McFly and Marty the Fly.
I would buy that.
I would too.
Sold. Oh, this movie. So, do you have a part of the film that you either really dislike or really like? And I'm going to go to Carrie.
It's not so much a part. I think it's like humorous in a sick way. That like the mutant dog when it's crawling.
Oh
yeah.
I mean, it's terrible, but it's just funny looking. I also love the practical effects. But the thing that bothers me most about the movie is actually Eric Stoltz. He's so meek in his voice. And that's, I mean, him and Little Women, I have that problem with. Him and Anaconda, I have that problem with.
He's an anaconda?
Yeah, he gets taken out pretty early.
He gets taken out really early with some fly in his throat.
Oh,
that's like a hey.
Oh,
he got a fly in his throat.
It's like a water wasp or something.
Yeah, some kind of big ass bug that they put like in his breathing gear that goes in his throat and stings him. Then he's out the rest of the movie.
He's alive, but just he's so meek, and it just bugs me. No pun intended.
Yeah, the dog part's always pretty disturbing because it's like he's petting this like beautiful dog and like hanging out with it, and you know he's trapped alone in the lab. He can't go anywhere. He has no friends. All he has is the dog. And then of course they run the dog through the teleporter, which you'd think they would start off like, let's not start off with a dog. Maybe let's send, I don't know, a snake through.
I thought
or
they said they
a mouse.
had been doing like smaller things.
Yeah, I think they had, but it's like if it hasn't been working with the smaller things.
And why do they keep it alive?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense either. Like
For science.
Once that thing comes out and you see that it's like half wrong side out, and then it's not a dog anymore, it's like a dog worm.
I mean,
it's like,
oh, what? That's what it was. It that or the thing at the end that reminded?
It was that the poltergeist
It was
too.
that or the thing at the end.
yeah, I think it was
Either one.
One of them
Both of them are
reminded
nasty.
me very much of Poltergeist 2 when he vomits up the worm that really has the ghost
Preacher.
spirit of the preacher inside of it, and that
Yeah.
thing is horrifying to me to this day.
It's pretty horrifying.
The practical effects on that was amazing, but that's what it reminded me of.
Still looks good.
Yeah.
The practical effects in this is pretty decent.
Yeah, they still hold up,
Even though we saw maybe a fishing line here and there.
I did laugh a lot when he fully transformed into the fly and was jumping from place to place. And that reminded me, and I wonder we should look this up. It reminded me of one of the very first episodes of Buffy with the praying mantis.
Oh yeah, hopping
it looked
around.
Very similar. Just the way the fly looked.
They may have used base designs off it or something, or
They used the same thing and just changed it.
Well, Buffy was a Fox show. This was a Fox movie, so they might have had access to some of that stuff and just changed it.
Little spiky things all over it.
Yeah.
And the one in Buffy, most of the time, was computer generated, which, God. But that's what came to mind, too.
It might have based it, because, a lot of times they'll reuse these things on different things.
Yeah.
Because there was some movie a while back, I can't remember what one it was now, but said they had bought some stuff, or they wanted to do a monster effect, and the guy said, well, I have this stuff left over from Game of Thrones and something else that I can just use pieces of it to make the monster for you. And they just literally used pieces from Game of Thrones and everything else to put it together and make the monster. And he's like, I'll do it for half the price if I don't have to make anything new.
The most real side note, the most random thing I've ever seen was a set piece that I've seen. It was Gracie Law's crown in Big Trouble in Little China. Her beautiful peacock crown is in an episode of Firefly in the dance.
Wow.
And I only noticed it because obviously I'm very familiar with that headpiece being one of my favorite movies. But they reuse stuff, even that.
Yeah. Which is why we need to go and raid these warehouses and steal all their stuff.
Yeah. Well, you have to have the whole movie, if you really think about it, the whole movie is literally about this Inside Out dog. Because it connects to what Eric Stoltz is going through, and character, them both being things that are being tested on, they're trapped, they have nowhere to go, and then later on the revenge aspect of how the person that put them in that situation gets it.
Yes, and he finds out that this man that's been his only father his whole life, who he loves, has not only lied to him about this dog, but it has been recording him having sex with his girlfriend, and is, you find out the password in the end. It was the magic word, and it was father.
Yeah.
And that was pretty sad.
It's I'd seen this movie, it's been more than 20 years since the last time I saw the movie. And it was one of those movies that came up on the weekend, and I just was like, oh, it's rainy outside and Saturday and I'm a teenager, I'm going to watch this. And I was like, hey, this is a pretty good movie. And then I remembered tidbits of it. Watching it again, I was like, man, this movie's depressing. It's really fucking sad.
Yeah, and
cheesy at the same time. It's the saddest, cheesiest movie ever.
Yeah.
So, he's working all this time trying to find a way, they tell him he needs to complete his father's research.
That he has cancer or something, or an uncurable
disease. He has an uncurable disease. But wait a second. Let's put a pause on that. We have to also mention beforehand that the character has an aging-ish deficiency or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's 5 years old in years of life, but he's actually 20.
Yeah. So it's a little creepy. I think if I was Daphne Zuniga and I found out later that this person that I've had sex with multiple times was actually only 5 years old, wouldn't that creep you out a little bit?
Yes.
It's kind of like the opposite of Claudia from Interview with
Vampire.
Yeah,
where she stayed little, but her mind
grew up. Well, this one, he grew up real fast. But
overall, maturity-wise and intelligent-wise, he was of whatever, but is that his innocence,
of the world and of liars and people using him. Yeah,
and of course, he's been told all these things his whole life. That's all he knows.
So he's trying to work on the research. They tell him he's got to fix the teleportation pods so that this will help him cure him too. But with the first time he messes everything up. The first couple of times too, messes up the plants. He's smart enough to at least try it on inanimate objects.
Yes.
And so he finally decides he's going to go through after he's going to test it. He's got it down. He tests it, but that just activates. It cures the aging thing, but activates the fly genes that are inside of him.
Yes, and the only way to cure the fly genes is to go into the pod with somebody else and transfer them to the other person.
Yep. So he would have to kill someone else to do it.
Which obviously goes against his moral compass.
At the time.
At the time,
well, yeah, because when he finds the truth, he's like, "Fuck it, you're a terrible person, and I want to live."
And that the sheriff or the head of security, what was his name? Shabby
or Scorby.
Scorby. He was interesting. Getz was hilarious in that role, the reoccurring role. It was very short, but
I feel like they were trying to they made that guy out to just be super evil, and you're like, why is this guy such a dick? All he has to do is sit around and watch computer monitors all day.
Yeah, he was very mean.
It was the whole thing of all this attention is going on this young guy, and this guy's he was a genius. Essentially, the guy was a genius, and he was given everything. So I feel like he had hatred for this freaking kid.
Just because he had things he didn't.
Yeah, because he was the freaking, blue collar worker or whatever that was going to be sitting in front of a screen. That was his whole life. That was as good as it was going to get, was working for this fucking company. He was not going to excel to, Eric Stoltz level. But even with the bitch, voice.
Why did he automatically inherit his father's brains? That's not necessarily a thing.
Well, that was just a story because you can't have him be he's aging and all this, and he's the dumb kid that does
Yeah, but how is he going to cure himself, Carrie, if he's not a genius? You're really stuck on this whole genius thing. Sometimes smart parents have smart kids.
No, I know.
I'm not saying it happens every single time, but it's a thing,
Yeah, like I said, they just had to have that for the plot too. Because if he was just an average kid and there's just aging at the thing, then there had to be someone else pushing him through the pod and everything, and it was just one of those it was convenient for the plot things, I think.
Oh, remember we were talking about the houseboat?
Yeah.
And how fantastic the Daphne Zuniga's character just lived on this fantastic houseboat.
Two-story houseboat.
Two-story houseboat.
And she lives on that with no problems. And she meets him, and of course they have all these romantic dates at work. She's the whole time that they're going out, they never really go anywhere. They just stay in the building and go to his house. So from his point of view, he's just found the ultimate hookup girl, because he just leaves his apartment, goes to his job, which is only kind of all in the same complex, meets her. They have their little dates going back and forth in the building, but they never really go out anywhere. Yeah. Which is kind of weird. You'd think at some point she would have been why don't we do anything outside of work?
Her name is Beth.
Beth, sorry.
Of course.
But yeah, so
best name ever.
They when she finds out that the lab is gonna when he finds out that they've been recording them having sex, and they're not really helping him out like he thought they were, that's when her and him kind of go on the run.
They only did it one time. I don't know why he's so mad. They took months and months of them having sex. They only had sex once. And I feel I would be more mad. Maybe that's why he was really mad. He was I only got to bang this chick one time. Okay, I just learned how to use my penis. And now...
And I'm 5.
And I'm 5. And I get to bang this girl one time, and now I can't bang her anymore because I'm going to turn into a fucking fly, and I'm not going to have a penis anymore. I'm going to have whatever flies have.
Yeah, and
Stinger.
They go running off, and of course she brings him back to the lab. She calls and has him come pick him up because she figures out pretty quick there's something creepy going on with him.
Oh, and he starts cocooning and stuff.
Yeah, he starts building a cocoon.
Yeah,
on the
when
couch.
they go to the hotel.
And it's the furniture was creepy enough in there already, and then he made a cocoon on it, and that seemed to...
That's the part, again, I haven't seen this in probably 25, 30 years. I saw it very, very young, and the only part I remember is him just kind of in a cocoon, and chrysalis on the couch. That's the memory I have of it.
And there's a deleted scene on the Blu-ray of this that we watched where it's he's waiting in the back of the car, and there's some kids that mouth off to him, and he vomits the acid and melts the window and everything and all this. And I didn't realize until I read something about that one of the kids in the back of the car is a young Haley Joel Osment.
Really?
They cut the scene from that, but yeah, he was in it.
And you can very clearly, like,
yeah, you
know
can see
that
it.
It's a tube.
Yeah.
Like, he opens his mouth and the tube is on the side, and he just,
So I'm sure that's probably why they cut that, because they looked at it and said, shit, we can see the tube.
Yeah.
Because some of the other stuff is pretty good, because of course they've got the puppet where they've got the vomit thing in his mouth. And I gotta say, the fly looks pretty good in this, where he's like, when he turns to a full fly and is running around all over the place, that looks pretty good.
When he sprays that thing, again, I'm going to mention another movie. It reminded me of The Faculty at the end where he stabs it and the creature like opens its mouth and sprays. To me, it looked very much like that. So maybe it has influenced a lot of other projects.
Probably a lot of practical effects figured out, like, this is how we got to do this from this, you know.
To make it look good, so we don't have like things sticking out.
Spurting and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, the effects of this at the end when they, you know, they take him back to the lab, and of course in just a little bit he comes out of his cocoon again. He's the full-on fly.
And
then and then he is just wreaking havoc in this place.
I'm a fly and I'm mad at you.
So is he Michael Jackson?
Yes, he sounds like just his voice is just so
so falsetto and
Hi, I'm a fly. I'm a fly away.
No, you kind of sound like Mr. Hanky.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Hanky.
But I wanted the fly. The fly never really says anything, but I wanted the fly to talk because I really wanted to hear
the fly. Does
He
talk.
doesn't talk.
What are you talking about? He talks to the freaking to the father, to the fake father figure. I'm not saying he has a full conversation.
I don't feel like he says any words. I think he taps the computer and types in like father.
Yeah, I don't remember him actually saying anything.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
I remember him talking.
Yeah.
Maybe because there's subtitles and I'm reading it in my mind with his Eric Stoltz voice that I think that he talked. Maybe that's what happened. Wait, no.
He did not.
We need to go back to the movie, okay? We need to edit the scene where he's like full fly, and then we need to dub over a voice.
That could be a fun YouTube video.
Put some Michael Jackson voices in there.
Hey!
I saw the thing where they replaced Timothée Chalamet in Dune with Elmo. They replaced him with Elmo and had him doing all this stuff.
I'm going to tell you that was the actual better version of that film, was with the Elmo. Fuck Timothée Chalamet. I'm all about the Elmo.
The guy's Elmo voice wasn't quite as good as it could be, but it was still pretty funny just to see him. He's doing all the scenes from Dune with the Elmo. I was like, oh god, people have too much time on their hands.
And Timothée Chalamet is about that short, so they got that's how they were able to make that flawless looking. It was like the height was good.
He's just very bony.
And he weighs like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Someone get that man a sandwich.
Because someone could easily cover him up with Elmo.
He hungry. He has to be hungry. Just like the fly. He was hungry for freedom.
So, in the climax, if you will.
Yeah, where they have all...
Not the part where Daphne Zuniga riding him like a...
Yeah, they...
horse.
80s, man, they always had to make sure that there was a good sex scene in all the horror movies. I feel like they've lost that now.
I know, it's so sad. It's like, come on, bitches. Y'all showing your titties out here for free. No, you know, they're OnlyFans now, so they're like, you can pay for that.
Yeah, $10 a subscription a month.
Yeah, I'm not going to show my tits on the movie anymore.
Terrible.
And or penises. I'll have them all. The tits, the butts, the penises, all the parts. Let's bring back the genitals in horror movies.
At least I didn't see a fly penis in this. That would have been...
Not horror movies, but the Euphoria show does show a lot of peen.
Oh, okay. Well, it's HBO. They're all about the peen.
Yes,
So, yeah, the climax, you know, he's running around in the place. Like I said, he's killing guards, throwing them around. There's a great scene where somebody gets their head crushed by the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
That was an amazing, because, you know, they just filled a head full of guts and stuffed it back in the day, and it looked great.
But it still looked very good.
Remember when he threw the guy and he landed on the stair railing?
And and he just stuck.
Oh, yeah, and he's just stuck.
Stuck to it, like...
He threw him so hard, he stuck to a smooth metal railing.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know how hard you have to be thrown.
Arms wrapped around it and draped over it like a blanket and is not moving.
Yeah, I love that part. It's like, they just threw the guy up there and said, now just lay there the rest of the scene. And he was like, okay. This is the easiest job I've ever had. I just have to lay here on this scene.
Yeah.
Best stunt man ever. I hope they gave him extra pay for that because it looked pretty fucking realistic but not realistic. It's like, how was he stuck on there? Maybe they had Velcro that we couldn't see or some shit because he was there for a while.
He was just hanging on, but it was a great scene. You just, like I said, you just threw him so hard he stuck to the rail, like a fly. Like when you smack it and it just sticks. That was what they did to him, but it was reversed. It was a fly doing it to other people.
Yes.
Well, there isn't a part 3, is there?
No, they never made any more sequels to this.
That
Now
would be amazing.
the original Fly.
Well, yes,
they made like 2 more of it, and there is a comic book that came out like in 2015 or 2016. That's essentially the Fly 3. It's the Martin Brundle trying to cure the guy that he left like at the end of this.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what's the movie called?
It's just it's a comic.
Oh.
And it's just called The Fly. But it's essentially like The Fly Part 3, where he's trying to cure the guy, and you find out he didn't lose all the fly abilities like you thought. He still kept he was stronger and faster and all that. He was like the Spider-Man kind of thing he was doing.
Better, faster, stronger.
Yeah, so it's not bad. It has really great covers. That Jason Edmondson did the covers to all of them. They look really cool. But I think I've got them somewhere.
The Fly Outbreak?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's pretty decent. There's some cool covers to the comics. But yeah, I've always kind of liked this movie. It gets a lot of hatred. People make it like it's the worst thing ever. I don't think it is. I enjoyed it.
Now, the sequel to the Vincent Price Fly is completely different from this one, correct?
A little bit. They kind of have the same idea, like it's the son of the guy from the original Fly who's trying to create his work, and then he gets turned into the Fly.
Okay.
So it is a little like it, but it's not like he's born with the thing. He just repeats the same. In that movie, it's the same thing, and like, oops, another fly got into the chamber, and he just happened to have the same thing happen to him that happened to his dad.
So you would think after that encounter, you would just have like a whole basement full of fly strips everywhere, so there wouldn't be a random fucking fly that goes into the thing?
There would be nothing in there at all. Like, I would have that place locked down. Nothing would come in or out of there, not even dust.
Bug spray. Who plays the son? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head, no, in the original.
I think it would be hilarious if it was Vincent Price.
No, Vincent Price he's still there playing the uncle. And he comes back, I think, in there, like, the Curse of the Fly. It's Vincent Price trying to do it, and I think he gets turned into the Fly.
Okay.
And that's why, Vincent Price agreed to do that one again, because he didn't have to be there for half of it, because they just put someone else in the Fly head and hand and have them going around.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because he wasn't the Fly. It was the other guy that was the Fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that for a second, because all I'm seeing is, like, the ending, where he's,
then that's
girl.
Vincent Price, like... Yeah, he's supposed to be the uncle, and he's there, like, with the kid, and they see the little fly trapped in there doing that. Help me! And they smash it with the rock.
Very sad.
Yeah, and, like, what always got me, though, even as a kid, was like, why aren't they doing anything? They see the spider is about to eat this fly person. It's screaming for help. They wait until the spider is, like, crunching on him before they smash it. It's like, thanks for that.
I guess because of the disbelief that you have like a human head on a fly, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And it's so small. It's not.
Yeah.
I think his son was played by someone named Brett Halsey.
Okay.
Brett Halsey, eh?
That guy. Oh, yeah.
He was in Young and the Restless.
Oh, there you go.
That just...
Blew your mind, right?
Yeah. And then we never saw Eric Stoltz again. No, I'm sure we've seen him.
He was in Little Women. Ugh, can't.
And then we never saw Eric Stoltz again.
And then he was in
some other
Anaconda.
stuff. But,
oh yeah.
And then he ate a fly, and we never saw him again.
Let's see what he has been.
He's been in a few things here and there. He was in that movie in the 90s that was written by Tarantino's partner, that Killing Zoe or something was the name of it.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
And then
he was in Mask. Oh, he's in Mask.
Of course, he's in Pulp Fiction, too.
The kid with the deformed head.
Yeah, no, I know, but that movie is so old.
Some Kind of Wonderful, Pulp Fiction, The Butterfly Effect.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Oh, he was in that Butterfly Effect?
Yeah, he's the dad.
The Prophecy. He was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, but that's like this movie came out in 1989. Okay, Jerry Maguire. Okay, more recent. All right, yeah, so we did see him again.
We did see him again. We just forgot about
we forgot about him because he talked like this throughout the whole movie. So we didn't
he was
recognize.
In some made-for-TV movies.
Very not good ones, apparently.
And then the porno called The Spanish Fly.
Why is it a porno?
Because you you make the Spanish fly drink and it makes you horny, and then you have sex with a fly.
Oh, is that a drink?
Yeah. It's supposed to be. It's like a Rohypnol kind of thing, supposedly. But, yeah. So that's when she went to porno.
I thought
and that,
you meant like he would become like a Spanish fly. I'm like,
What is he wearing a sombrero?
Like, why would it be him? He's not
On the
Spanish.
bed.
he's got a little sombrero on and a little poncho, but he's
Buenas
fly.
noches. Soy de fly.
Like, he's very ginger to play a Spanish man.
So I would give this. I would give this 3 knives.
Out of how many?
What do we do?
5.
5, yeah.
3 because I like the nostalgia of it. Because I've watched the person I used to watch it with. I have good memories of that, and it wasn't terrible.
No, like I said, it's a good, solid 3-star movie.
Yeah,
Or in our case, 3
like
knives.
a C plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do C pluses, okay? I'm the only one that can get the rating wrong because I fuck it up every time. So you have to get it right. It was 2.5 knives for me.
Okay.
It's knife reading.
2.75 knives. We'll break the tie. We'll go there. It's the 2 knives and a hilt.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
La mosca. Español. Spanish fly.
Shoes fly, don't bother me.
Montoya Montes is in the movie now.
I am Inigo Montoya. Oh wait, he's Italian, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm Inigo on the
There
fly.
are no drugs or alcohol involved in the making of this episode, just so you
Yes.
know.
Yeah, this is just all just
A can of Coca-Cola and
Flicence.
ibuprofen.
Yeah.
flicense, flight nonsense.
License to wed.
There we go. Because they might have got married after this. We don't know.
Has there been any other
A fly to remember.
Yes.
This is going to be the sequel. We're just going to
Has there
start
been
naming.
any other Fly movies since The Fly? Now, there is Mimic. I was about to say Mimic. No, Mimic.
The fly in the
Those
city.
are roaches that get
Well, yeah, they're like a.
engineered.
That's disgusting. I hate that movie.
Yeah, what were they? They were, yeah, they engineered. They became like some kind of giant insect. They ended up. They were
Like,
supposed
that
to
can
kill.
mimic people.
Yeah, because they were supposed to kill off the rats, weren't they?
No, they were supposed to kill off another roach, I think, that was spreading a disease that was killing children.
Okay.
And they were engineered to not be able to reproduce and die off, but somehow they
But as Jurassic
did.
Park taught us, this.
Life finds a way.
There you go.
Then you have Meet the Applegates.
Oh yeah, that movie's about the giant cockroaches from the Amazon.
What movie is this and when is it from?
Carrie. It's from 1990 and it has Christina Applegate in it.
Which is weird that they
And
called
just
it Meet the
happens to be
Applegate.
called
Yeah.
Meet the Applegate.
Yeah, I don't know how if they did that before she was on board or not, but again, that's Ed Begley
Right?
Jr.
She's in the movie, right?
Yeah.
It's Christina Applegate. You know what? No, it's not Christina Applegate. But you know who is? Ed Begley Jr. is in the movie, and so is Stockard Channing. She's the mom.
Who's
Stockard
the daughter?
Channing.
No, I heard you.
Ed Begley Jr.
I know, the daughter.
Oh, the daughter. The daughter, I have no... It's an unknown person. I have no idea who this is.
Okay.
No.
I thought she was in that for some reason. Maybe just because of the name. Maybe.
I also
Yeah.
thought she was in it. Let's see. We'll
Is the girl
see.
like blonde Kelly Bundy looking?
Yeah.
Yes,
There
she
you go.
is.
But they're a family of giant cockroaches from the Amazon that become...
Are they made up as cockroaches?
At some point, yeah. But at a point, they all turn like human, and they come and they live to try and destroy this like factory that's going to be built there. It's very weird.
I don't think they're...
That's fantastic, and I need to see it.
You've
Yeah.
never seen this
I've never
movie?
even heard of this movie.
Yeah,
It's Camille Cooper is the girl.
okay.
And she does have a...
Kelly Bundy.
that look, Kelly Bundy-esque, which is why I thought Kelly Bundy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that movie's pretty fantastic. If we're talking about bug movies.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. But yeah, that's really the... I was trying to think if there's any other good
I mean,
bug
there's other,
movies.
like, there's Arachnophobia and...
There's one just
it's
called
different.
Bug from the 70s. It's just about giant cockroaches that come out of the ground and they can get like super hot and burn people.
There's that movie Bug that's with Ashley Judd and...
Oh yeah, she loves that movie.
That movie freaked me out. The last whole climax scene when they're just spiraling into each other's like mental disorder. I will never watch that again.
That is the only movie in my whole life that I left the theater and asked for my money back. Because I was
I thought you
like...
said you loved that movie.
No, I hate that movie. No.
I've asked for my money back twice. And it wasn't necessarily, it was because the movies were really bad and because there was a lot of people just being so loud I couldn't even try it. So one was Meet Joe Dirt. And one was The Scorpion King.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at these graphics being like, this is horrible. And The Rock sucks.
Yeah. That Camille Cooper was in a shocker.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever asked for my money back on one. But there's another bug one, too, called Phase 4. That's about a colony of ants that somehow they all become like a...
Isn't District 9 technically their bugs? Or they're alien bugs?
They're
right?
aliens, yeah. The ants in Phase 4 all become like super intelligent, and they... Like, the more of them they get together, the smarter they get, and they start, like, building these, like, weird structures to communicate with people. They're, like, the structures and the things on the ground are, like, mathematic symbols and all this kind of stuff. It gets really weird.
Wow.
I guess technically the faculty, it's a parasite.
Yeah.
It's like a worm.
So they're still making good bug movies, but they just don't make a lot of fly movies.
Well, a lot of the things we mentioned are, like
creature, like...
alien-esque
Yes.
bugs. But bug... Obviously, this one.
See, all that, not this one, but all that I put into the category of creature feature. And I know it's not the technical creature feature. I put that in like Anaconda, Lake Placid, Jaws.
Anytime the animal is bigger than normal size,
yes,
like it can throw it into creature. If it's just
ants. We just literally named all these movies. And it's just the one with the big ass ants.
Them.
There you go.
That was from the 50s, though.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the
Pixar movie. No, not the Pixar movie.
No, that one's just called Them. Yeah, but the giant ants. That one's actually, for a movie in the 50s, the effects of the giant ants are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I could sit through one of those, to be honest with you.
It's not as bad. This one is a little
She don't
better.
like black and white movies.
I've only sat through one on purpose, and it was fantastic. It was Psycho.
Yeah. You might like Them. It's pretty good for the 50s. Leonard Nimoy has a small part in it.
Yeah,
so,
he does.
And what's the name of the guy? I'll show it to you later. But so that's it for this week. We have discussed, I think, all we can talk about The Fly 2 and every other bug movie that existed.
I'm sure there's a ton. There's
a ton more. Those are the ones we can think of off the top of our head.
Yeah.
Oh, that freaking one, Silent Night. Silent Night, Deadly Night, like 3 or whatever that we just covered.
Yeah, there's some weird like insects in that they keep putting in people too.
Nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's disgusting. That movie is horrifying, but it was really fun to watch and cover.
Yeah, you get like a greased up naked Clint Howard chasing people around, putting bugs in them. It's really weird.
It's a big cockroach. There's multiple cockroaches in the film.
Already,
horrified.
That's scary enough, but again, when you add like giant cockroaches that he's carrying around, that's even scarier.
And those were not fucking practical effects. Those are real fucking cockroaches.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Disgusting. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Carrie, for being our guest.
Yay!
Joining us on The Fly 2. Stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.